Okay guys, so this is one of our SCBA packs, and we're just gonna look at what it takes to get it back into service. So starting off the back here, this is your backpack unit itself. We're gonna wanna make sure that we go through all the straps. We wanna make sure that nothing's twisted and everything's fully extended anytime we take it in or out of service. You've got your bottle connection, your low air alarm, and your universal RIT connection. This is all in the bottle attachment manifold. From there, you've got a high pressure hose that steps into your first stage regulator. This brings you down from whatever the bottle pressure is to 100 PSI. From there, it's gonna follow down to your mask regulator. Before your mask regulator, you've got your bypass, bleeds the air in and out. So just make sure that that's always closed too when you're done putting it in service. Once you're happy with your backpack assembly, everything's as it should be. You're gonna wanna start getting your bottle in. Make sure that we're up to 4,500 PSI, over 4,000, but if it's a fresh bottle, do your best to make sure we're in the green. Slides in from the top. We wanna leave our strap loose while we're making our connection. Gives you a little play with the bottle, make sure that everything's lined up nicely.
Just burp that. Just crack your bottle.
Bottle's good. On our connection port here, there's an O-ring too. Just have a quick look at that. Sometimes you can get some debris in there and it won't seat proper. So just make sure there's nothing gumming up the system. Fit the bottle together. Make sure it's nice and snug. Once you're happy with your connections, then you can go ahead and seal up this belly strap. Make sure that everything's square. And then we're gonna turn the system on. So we'll open up the bottle valve. That's gonna bring our control panel on. You wanna make sure that it's open all the way open. You can turn it back just half a crack just so that you know what way's off, what way's on. Let the system equalize, and then you're gonna wanna compare the bottle pressure to what your pack pressure's reading. It needs to be within 10%, otherwise there's an issue and things need to be recalibrated.
And the unit in your hand there, that's your integrated control module?
That's correct. And so a couple different buttons on this. Your module also is what monitors your movement. If there's any time that you're not moving for 30 seconds or more, it's gonna set off your pass alarm. So when your bottle's on, your system's on, just make sure that you're giving this a shake. Otherwise the bells and the alarms are gonna start going off, and it's really hard to talk over. On the ICU itself, 3 buttons. The first one's the light button on the top corner. Give that a press. It's gonna bring your control unit on. It's also gonna bring the lights on your HUD display on in your mask. Big center button in the middle. That's your manual pass alarm. Hold it down for a few seconds and you're gonna set off the pass. To silence that, the yellow button on the side, 2 taps, that's gonna bring your pass alarm off. That's gonna shut your bottle down. That's your silence button. So 2 taps on that, quiets everything down. And again, just make sure you're giving that a shake. Once we're happy with our numbers, everything's matching up, lights are working, we've got lights in our HUD. Then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna turn bottle pressure off. And we're gonna get over to our mask regulator on the bypass, and we're slowly gonna start bleeding down bottle pressure. We're gonna watch our gauges. At 3,000 PSI, you're gonna notice that 1 of your 3 green lights is gonna go off. These lights are your bottle pressure. So 3,000 PSI, you're down to 2 green lights. Again, you can press that corner button and it's gonna light them up again. You're gonna keep going down to 2,000 PSI. And that's when you get your 2 yellow lights. So always keep an eye on that. It's easy to forget when you're on a scene, you're working away. It's a good thing to notice. If we keep going down at 1,500 PSI, that's your low air alarm going off. And then down at 1,000 PSI, that's when you notice you got the 1 blinking red light. It's time to go. If all that checks out, bleed your pack right down. Make sure that bypass is turned off. 2 clicks on the silence button and the pack will shut off. Give it one last good look over. Nothing got twisted, everything's still fully extended, and I'm happy to put this back in service.